How many of you all consider yourself a small business right now? If you consider yourself a small business, type me. You don't ever want nobody to call you something that doesn't fit. So if I walked up to you right now, and said, hey, your business will never amount to nothing. As a matter of fact, your business is irrelevant. You are insignificant. You would feel offended. But if you go look at the definition of small, it is of a size less than normal or usual, insignificant or unimportant. There is no possible way that you can reach financial freedom when you subconsciously think of yourself as of a size less than normal. When you subconsciously think of yourself as insignificant or unimportant. There is no such thing as a small dollar and a big dollar. It's just a dollar. There is no such thing as a small business or a big business. It's just business. And at the end of the day, when you start to realize that most of the things that we run into is not the business itself, but our mindset. When we understand that it's our mindset that is actually driving these decisions. And I want you to understand, here's where I'm about to connect the dots for you. It is simply this. You have spent years being someone else's employee. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, you decided to be your own boss. You may have heard of this, you may have heard of that, but I want you to understand something. It took you years to learn how to be someone else's employee. So the same amount, right? The same amount of effort and energy that you put into being someone else's employee is the same amount of energy that you need to be putting into being a business owner. Because here's why. Typically, whenever you start a job, you go through training. How many of you went through business owner training? Typically, when you start a job, they have policies and procedures to follow. How many of you created policies and procedures for you to follow? Typically, whenever you work for someone else, you have a dedicated time to clock in, to clock out, and focus all your attention on someone else's dream. How many of you clock in mentally and clock out daily on your own dream? What I am trying to help you understand is the more that you keep waking up every single morning doing the exact same thing that you did as an employee, you will never understand what it means to be a business owner. To be a business owner means that you got to take risk. To be a business owner, that means that you have to live this thing, breathe this thing, walk this thing, think this thing. To be a business owner means it becomes a lifestyle. That means that you don't have time to talk to employees all day. You need to surround yourself around people who have been where you're trying to go. You need to talk to people every single day that understands when you want to throw in the towel and say, I quit. You need to talk to people that understand that you don't know how to make it from today to tomorrow. You need to surround yourself with people that are going to push you every single day and that is not going to accept an excuse. Stop listening to people who ain't never been where you're trying to go. Stop following people who cannot lead you to where you're trying to go. Success will not come to you overnight. Opportunity is not going to sit on your doorstep and say, I'm waiting on you. It will never happen. And every single time that you blame somebody, the other person on the other end is looking at you as you don't know what you're doing. Because if you knew what you were doing, you wouldn't be blaming me. You would be blaming you because you didn't take the steps that you needed to put yourself in the right direction. And I'm done. And I mean that. Stop believing all of this stuff that you see on social media. It's your fault. When you wake up every single morning and do the exact same thing every day, expecting a different result, that's your fault.